Africa's New Deal on Energy at the World Economic Forum in Davos to focus on power, potential and partnership.
Railway workers call off strike.
A look at the use of expired diapers and their effects on babies.
And UN and AU meet for talks on violence sparked by re-election of Burundian president.
Coming to you live from Broadcasting House in Accra, this is News Hour on GBC24 and GTV with Conrad Kakrava and...
My name is Shirley Annan.
Africa needs a new deal on energy, and now it has one. For Africa's New Deal on Energy in the spotlight at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland this week, the focus is on power, potential and partnership. The Africa Progress Panel has already done the research to show that Africa can power itself if it and others work together. And there are already key players in the field like the Africa Renewable Energy Initiative, supported by the G7, the UN's Sustainable Energy for All initiative, and the US Power Africa program.
The private sector is a source of leadership as well as funding, for instance, through the Africa Energy Leaders Group. The task is to point them all in the same direction. So the New Deal is an African-led initiative to mobilize potential, will, and financial support to solve Africa's energy challenges. The New Deal is also practical. It will set up the right energy policy environment, laws, regulation, governance. It will build the capacity of national energy utilities companies. It will dramatically increase the number of bankable energy projects and the funding pool to deliver them. It will roll out waves of countrywide energy turnarounds. It will also be energy resource neutral, using renewables and non-renewables alike, and technology neutral. The African Development Bank will manage the New Deal, as well as investing $12 billion in energy funding over the next 5 years, attracting up to 4 times as much from other financiers in the process.
Railway workers have called off their strike after part of their 3-month salary arrears was paid. GBC24 has been to some railway platforms in Accra and reports that passengers are again patronizing the services of the trains following their resumption.
Late last year, the train coaches were parked as the workers backed their demands for unpaid salaries.
In December last year, train services across the country were suspended. After about 1 month, there is good news for the workers. Part of their salaries have been paid, so the coaches are back on the tracks. With the resumption of train services, the platforms are busy once again. Management says negotiations with stakeholders resulted in the partial fulfillment of their demands. Business is taking off fast, with traders and passengers accessing this means of transport. The passengers were grateful to management for the resumption of train services. A passenger, Tina Dogbe, is happy that the trains are back in business.
The money you have to take to Insawan, maybe from here to Insawan, you take about 6 cedis or 10 cedis a day. And the train will take you about 2 cedis a ticket. So in and out 4 cedis, you reduce that money from the trotro. How much will you think will save you? Yes, so if they have gone on strike, it will affect us. So it's good that they've come back.
When GBC24 got to the Accra Central Railway Station, the Nsawam and Tema trains were ready for departure. A train supervisor, Philip Dotu, spoke about the operations and some proposed changes.
All these people will be driving out because all the road is blocked. And if people will go and buy loads to load in the train because of these traders, well, you can't do anything about it.
He said talks were still ongoing to resolve issues necessitating their strike. The operations officer at the station, Stephen Mensah, was worried about the lack of space around the railway lines. He said management is soon to start decongesting the area of all traders around the rails.
The defunct Dunkwao Goldfields mining company in the central region is to receive a new lease of life. An action filed against Ghana by Dunkwao Continental Goldfields Limited at the International Arbitration Court has been ruled in Ghana's favor.
The Chief Executive of the Minerals Commission, Dr. Tony Urban, says the government is therefore looking for credible investors to revamp the mining company.
The once vibrant Dunkwao Goldfields Mining Company was situated in Dunkwao on Ofin in the central region. It later collapsed, but the government in a project agreement mandated Dunkwao Continental Goldfields Limited to take over the operations of the defunct Dunkwao Goldfields Mining Company. Along the line, Dunkwao Continental Goldfields Limited stopped mining gold because dredging operations had proved to be non-viable and rather opted for agro-processing. But the permit was for mining and not agro-processing. Ghana subsequently raised objections and terminated the contract. Unhappy about the turn of events, Dunkwao Continental Goldfield Limited filed an action against Ghana in 2011 at the International Arbitration Court, seeking about $200 million in damages. Their complaint was that Ghana unlawfully terminated their contract, but the International Arbitration Court in 2015 threw out their claims, saying it was without merit, and proceeded to award over $3 million against the applicant and a further order for a refund of $700 million to Ghana, announcing government's interest to revamp the Dunkwao Goldfields Mining Company to the Chiefs and the District Assembly at Dunkwao. The Chief Executive of the Minerals Commission, Dr. Tony Urban, said, though the government is looking for investors, operations might not start immediately, since any investor would survey the area to make sure the land is favorable.
Though we are looking for an investor, mining may not start immediately. The investor has to conduct a drilling exercise to find out if it is a potential mining site before starting operations. If the land is no longer viable for mining, the chiefs of the mining community and the government then decide on how the land can be used to benefit the society.
The municipal chief executive of Upper Denchua East, Emilia Ankuma, appealed to the chiefs to support the fight against galamsey in the area. Even though the chiefs were in agreement, they were worried about the current mining rules, which do not allow chiefs to keep an eye on activities of mining companies who flout the law.
So we be perceive as a sekura abeye money. Nananum sunu di kesi. Krata kro de kwa ansana abayama no tumi krata amana ye adwuma no. Na nananum assign consent letter. Assign edema sa nipa no. No de yakọ ana company no. Ansana sa adwumadie no. Aban so so aye nkrata efata bia de ama no. Anu nipa no ba oye ade enya meka kire nze hey utie enso sabire ya yewo mu entesa.
Meanwhile, vast lands belonging to the defunct Dunkwao Goldfields Mining Company have been taken over by some individuals and private investors.
As the Eastern Regional Police Command and the National Road Safety Commission strengthen their resolve to ensure sanity on the roads, the team has gone on a snap check of the Nkoko bypass.
Led by the commander, DCOP Angubutoge Awuni, the exercise was to help, among other things, stop wrongful parking by cargo vehicles on that stretch of the road.
For several years, due to traffic on the central business district of Nkoko, travelers spent long hours on the road. However, following the completion of the Nkoko bypass, this is a thing of the past. Congestion in the town has also significantly reduced since most commercial and private vehicles use the bypass instead of passing through Nkoko town. But there is a disturbing development. Hawkers have now gradually turned the bypass into a small market. A major cause for concern is the haphazard manner in which vehicles are parked at the bypass, and this poses a threat to lives and property. This attracted public attention, so the Police Command, together with the National Road Safety Commission and the Kwewu West Municipal Assembly, came out with this initiative to put an end to the wrongful parking. The measures were outlined by the Chief Executive of the Kwewu South Municipality, Dr. Alex Obing Sumwa.
We are contacting some people for land. But fortunately, only this morning, we've given a piece of land. So after this exercise, we negotiate with the landowner and see the way forward. Fortunately, he has a machine which can work on the land for us.
The police commander DCOP Angubutoge Awuni was concerned about the wrong use of the bypass.
Fortunately, he says they are clearing the place here for the hawkers to move in. So they wouldn't have any reason of being here. First and foremost, their lives are at stake. Look at the way they were following that bus.
The regional director of the National Road Safety Commission, Mr. Kwesi Chibujirenchi, also said it is important that the situation be brought under control. The exercise will be organized continuously throughout the week.
For 90-year-old Muhammadu Aboliga from Bia near Bolgatanga in the Upper East region, being idle is not an option, and for him, being serviceable at that ripe old age has contributed to his agility.
Mr. Aboliga spends his time at the Nima Girl filling station, where he cleans cars for customers at the pump for a tip. He told our reporter Winifred Efum that he gets some satisfaction from the little he does, no matter how small the monetary return is, and this is how he earns his keep.
Meet this affable 90-year-old Mr. Muhammadu Aboliga. He is from Bia, a village about 5 miles from Bolga. He has never been to school. Even though Mr. Aboliga cannot remember his date of birth, he tells me he came to Accra in the early 60s as a young man in his early 30s to work as a driver's mate. He has an only son from an earlier marriage but is not in contact with his son. Asked why, he tells me his son does not know he is in Accra. Mr. Aboliga has lived at the Nima Girl filling station for over 40 years now. He tells me he has lived through the administration of 5 different managers at the filling station.
I've
nothing to show if I go back to my hometown, so I have only been back home twice.
1964.
Mr. Aboliga earns his keep here by cleaning vehicle windscreens for a tip and also directs the flow of traffic at this small area. He is not an employee of the filling station, but is a de facto member of staff because of his long stay here. He wears the same uniform, just like the staff here, in order to be accepted by customers. While customers wait for their turn to be served, Mr. Aboliga dutifully does his job. He lives on the daily tips and tells me sometimes he earns 15 cedis a day. There are mixed reactions about what he does. Whereas some customers are generous enough to give him money, others do not give him their time of day and do not acknowledge his efforts. He shared some of his experience.
Some people can't even say thank you to me, but I accept any tip, no matter how small.
He may be on in years, but this nonagenarian looks strong. He tells me the secret to his youthful nature is the fact that he abstains from too much sugar. At the end of the day, this is where Mr. Aboliga sleeps, on a bench. He also doubles as a security man here. He recounts how Nima used to be some 40 years ago.
Oh, Nima, I feel Nima there. The place in the wouldn't the best say, Shabna cook and the dra.
Nima used to be a dangerous place to be, but now it's fine.
He is a Muslim and strictly observes the mandatory prayer times within the day. He says he has never skipped the annual Muslim fast. During the Eid, some philanthropists in Nima shared their meals with him. Mr. Samuel Pepra is the manager of the Nima Gold filling station.
I know Mr. Bolga about 10 years ago when I took over from this station. If you've got somebody like this, maybe in your premises and you can assist him, don't allow him to go out to beg. We can be supporting him maybe gradually to make the living.
A member of staff at the station, Mr. Paul Asante, said Mr. Abolega is a very nice person. Many admire and commend Mr. Abolega at his age for trying to keep body and soul together, however small. And at this point in his life, they say it is more about bread and butter on the table rather than comfort. Mr. Abolega hopes to be absorbed by interventions such as sleep. For in his corner and during his productive years, he has also done his bit for Mother Ghana.
The struggles of a man, right?
It's such an inspiring story.
Let's go to the Ashanti region now. The Asante Mampong Technical College of Education is constructing a biogas facility at a cost of almost 2 million cedis to cut down its high electricity bills.
This is one of the projects the college is embarking on to give it a facelift.
The college was established more than 9 decades ago by the colonial government and is the only technical college that trains technical teachers for the junior high schools in the country. But it is saddled with infrastructural challenges which stagnates its growth. The college is trying to use its internally generated funds to put most of its 40-year-old abandoned structures in shape. One of the abandoned projects is being converted into a students' hostel and work is progressing steadily. The other, meant for a dormitory, is now being converted into a classroom block. The GET Fund has almost completed an administrative block. The college is also in need of an auditorium since its intake has increased. The college's automated technical workshop needs to be upgraded, but in its current state it is impeding progress of training. GBC24 learned that automobile, which used to be one of its leading courses, is no longer part of the school's curriculum. And in an interview with the principal, Reverend Dr. Nweko Avotri again pleaded with the government to give some attention to technical and vocational education to redeem the nation from its current economic challenges.
Government should pay a proper attention to this college. Otherwise, we will truncate our desire for technical education in future.
Touching on the biogas project, Reverend Dr. Avotri said the college's resources alone cannot meet the cost and therefore appealed for support.
We have consultation with the experts, and the college out of its IGF has made blocks to raise the superstructure. Now we need assistance to construct the digester and then to buy the other equipment that we'll put in. We will be prepared to partner with anybody who wants to come and help us. From our IGF, we can try to see if we can build the superstructure ourselves. But from there on, we will need help.
On the recent violent demonstration that led to the closure of the college over the decision to withdraw students who failed their end of semester examination, Reverend Dr. Avotri said calm had returned and expects students to be of good behavior. He warned that students who failed in the examinations and did not perform creditably during the course period will be totally withdrawn, saying tertiary education is meant to produce quality graduates.
In the past, cotton or any comfortable and absorbent fabric was a preferred choice for a nursing mother to use as a napkin for her baby. This was held in place by safety pins, but today many mothers are choosing to use diapers. The reason for them being that diapers are more absorbent compared to the cotton napkins.
And because the diapers are in high demand, sales are booming. Unfortunately, some importers and retailers are fleecing customers and are importing expired diapers. GBC24 finds out more about this development and its possible effects on babies.
Many mothers the world over find diapers more convenient than cotton napkins. Even in the underdeveloped middle and low-income countries, diapers now are the most preferred choice. This is partly due to the civilization, considering its advantage of disposal after use as compared to traditional baby napkins made of cloth or lining diapers, which have to be washed and reused. Ghana is no exception. Cotton napkins are now in less demand and many nursing mothers use diapers more often for their babies, one of the reasons being that it prevents nappy rash. This high preference for diapers has compelled importers and retailers to deal in various foreign diapers, and these can be seen on the market. There are different textures of diapers. There's the full or 100% cotton diapers, the semi-cotton ones, and rubber diapers which are less absorbent as compared to the full cotton ones. Prices of these diapers vary according to the absorbent level, so mostly the full cotton diapers are preferred by most mothers for their babies. A pack of diapers which comes in 12s is priced depending on its brand name. This ranges from 5 to 30 Ghana cedis or even more. Due to the high demand of the product, prices always go up. As a result of this, some importers have taken advantage of the high demand to import expired diapers, which are mostly known on the market as faux, second-hand or expired diapers. These diapers are packaged like the faux or second-hand clothing sacks without packaging information. No brand name, no manufacturing date, no expiry date, and no instructions on how a first-time user can use it on a baby as compared to the packaged ones with brand names. A retailer at the CMB market in Accra, Mohammed Audu, has been selling diapers for 5 years now. He said most women now prefer diapers because of their busy schedule and also due to its advantage over the cotton napkins. He said as a result of that, women who cannot afford to buy the packaged diapers go in for these expired diapers with very little or no knowledge about its expired nature and its effects on their babies.
Oh, me pe diaper na full no. Daga so diaper full so de e hu bi de be hu ase obi di bi aba besen beti ni bebi a ye ton no. Nti ada attacks kwa yen nipa no yetumi eden advice no say what beto sa full no. Later on the problem besa abra wansa. Diaper de ka obenya na food and travel for eden. Edi hu adanse this stamp this no. Eno na se normally no. Utumi to.
Mr. Kwame Nyako has been in the diaper selling business for a decade now. Mr. Nyako said these faux or expired diapers have been on the market for more than 3 years now. He said it sells fast.
I don't sell those diapers myself, but I've heard people selling them on the streets. Where they get them from, I've got no idea. Some of them call it faux diapers, and you know with faux, that means it's used already, but I don't think it's used. But I see them selling on the street. Because it's in pieces, there's no package, it's not in the package form. So you can't tell if it's expired or not. You can't tell the production date or the expiring date. Secondly, what I know of is diapers expires 3 years after production.
He said a single diaper could be sold as low as between 20 and 50 pesos.
Those ones are a bit cheaper than what we sell. Where they get them from, I still don't know.
Madam Comfort Ansar Samoa deals in mother care products. She told GBC24 that she no longer invests capital into the sale of cotton napkins because of its low demand by most mothers, as they prefer the use of the diapers.
In the past, we were using cotton baby napkins, but since the introduction of diapers, the sale of napkins have gone down. So these days, I don't go in for napkins since they hardly buy them.
Customers used to patronize the napkins, but these days they have resorted to diapers.
An associate professor at the University of Ghana Medical School at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Dr. Hector Addo, explained why it is not safe for mothers to use diapers which do not bear information of the manufacturer, direction for use, or an expiry date on them.
If any material is used after its expiry period, there must be some defect in its own expected protection to the person. In that situation, I would expect that if it's expired, it might lose its ability to prevent secondary infection on the skin for whatever chemical has been added to it. So you should expect that if they are using expired product like that, after a period, the person may get secondary infection, particularly from bacteria.
Dr. Addo explained how these diapers lose their absorption level, hence putting babies at risk.
The absorption capacity of the pad itself could be affected after a certain period. And so the person passes urine, it stays on the skin, and instead of being absorbed to a certain level, remains in direct contact with the skin of the child. You should expect that there will be adverse reaction. And often this is what produces what we call a napkin dermatitis, which makes the children very uncomfortable.
Some mothers talked to GBC24 about the expired diapers on the market.
Almost say your first one by media,
Next time you wish to buy a diaper for your baby, just make sure you purchase the right diaper to prevent any health implications.
Second-hand diapers? How possible?
Correct. I think it's easy to come by and it's very, very cheap as well.
So it's not because it's been used and it's been repackaged for use again.
Well, I don't have a comment on that. You're still watching news on GBC24 and GTV have business coming up. Please stay with us. The Monetary Policy Committee of the Bank of Ghana will on Monday meet to review the performance of the economy. Expectations are that the central bank will increase the policy rate from 26% to 27% to ease the inflationary pressures. On the other hand, there are suggestions that in the face of instability and uncertainty in the global financial market, the MPC will slash down the policy rate by 1% or at best leave it unchanged at 26%. Edward Nyako looks at the rate ahead of next week's meeting.
Technically, the policy rate is a tool used by the central bank to determine the size and the rate of growth of money supply, which in turn affects interest rate. Simply put, it is the rate at which commercial banks borrow from the central bank. December 2015 registered one of the highest policy rates ever since the MPC was established 13 years ago in November 2002. Records from the Bank of Ghana show that in March 2003, the rate went as high as 27.50%. Because at that time the inflation in Ghana stood at 23%. But from October 2006 to August 2007, the policy rate dropped to 12.50%. The MPC will next week announce the policy rate. For some, the concerns raised by the IMF in its latest report about inflation, which currently stands at 17.7%, will in a way lead the central bank to adjust the rate upwards from 26% to the 2002 levels of 27%. If that scenario unfolds, then the cedi-denominated securities will become more attractive, especially at a time when the U.S. Federal Reserve has increased its federal rate to 0.5%. Failure to do so will see investors rushing for the greenback and other major foreign currencies, and this will in turn put pressure on the local currency. So in essence, increasing the policy rate will ease inflationary pressures as well as stabilize the cedi. But critics point out that such a development will also make cost of doing business in Ghana very expensive. At the moment, the interest rate in Ghana is between 32 and 36%. This makes Ghana one of the countries in Africa with the highest interest rate, due largely to the fact that policy rate is at 26%. In Africa, the country with the highest policy rate is Madagascar, 33%, and the lowest of 4.5% can be found in the CFA zone countries. From this data, it is clear that whichever way the central bank decides will have implications on the cost of doing business in Ghana. Many hold a view that because the headwinds in the commodity market, including oil, cocoa, and gold, are strong, coupled with the call by the IMF to tighten inflation, the central bank will move the policy rate up to 27%. Edward Nyako, reporting for GBC24.
The Dean of the Graduate School of the Pentecost University College, Professor Kwame Buesiako Omani Enchi, is asking the government to reduce the 15% withholding tax on services for residents to 7.5%. His reason is that this would have a negative impact on working capital, particularly the small medium enterprises. Professor Manienchi was speaking at a seminar in Accra on the review of the 2016 National Budget Statement by the Pentecost University College Graduate School. It is customary for the Pentecost University College Graduate School to review the economy and good governance regularly. This enables the students, academicians and professionals in every sector to discuss topical issues, including taxation. The latest forum focused on the mid-year budget and prospects of the Ghanaian economy in the context of short, medium and long term. The Dean of Graduate School of the Pentecost University College, Professor Kwame Buesiako Omani Enchi, urged the government to reduce the taxes on petroleum products to make life a bit more bearable for all.
Some of the comments made by a cross-section of the budget statement observers are that, 1, the 2016 national budget unfortunately does not address contemporary issues confronting the economy appropriately. Instead, it appears that the budget seeks to fulfill a constitutional mandate rather than serve as an instrument of economic policy and strategy, targeted at dealing with the country's economic growth and developmental challenges. I consider such comments as political talk, since the budget certainly has some development agenda.
The chairman of Clay Dodd Consult, Professor Cletus Dodonu, spoke about the tax component of the 2016 budget.
When we talk about budget, it's a very close tool to the forward march of a country and therefore cannot be politicized. You have to go beyond your party. So your party manifesto is not important. The vision is the most important thing. The medium term that you are driving by the annual budget is going to be the basis of your performance.
The aim of the Pentecost University College Graduate School is to provide cutting-edge knowledge and skills in research and academic excellence. Up next is My Journey.
Good evening to you and welcome to My Journey on GBC24. My name is Gifty Eji. My journey today joins the debate on the decline of vulture population globally. In the past 2 decades, about 40 million birds have gone extinct. This figure, experts say, is probably the biggest population crash ever to happen. Global studies from the International Center for Birds of Prey indicate that key among them is the vulture. The use of a veterinary drug called the diclofenac is said to have wiped out about 99% of vultures in Europe and Asia, particularly in India, Pakistan, and Nepal. My journey today looks at the situation here in Ghana.
It was common to see a vulture in Ghana. They are frequently seen on dam sites and the abattoir. In the forest, a particular tree called the onyina, because of its huge and broad branches, provided refuge for this scavenging bird. Equia tells me about 10 years ago, vultures virtually visited their home on a regular basis for discarded animal parts and leftovers. A decade after, my team and I are in search of vultures to put together this story. The team visited some communities outside the capital in possible areas in the forest where vultures could be found. Alas, our camera only captured this vulture at 6:14 p.m. after hours of painful trekking. This vulture is hiding, making it difficult to even film it, probably a sign of insecurity. The decline in vulture population has not only come to the attention of bioconservationists, scientists, and environmentalists, but the public as well, who have observed that the skylines are gradually becoming non-existent of the scavenging bird, the vulture.
They normally live on big trees, the long trees, but most of the trees have been cut now.
As at now, they don't have bills, so it's very difficult for them to live in our areas now.
The vultures used to eat from our rubbish dump.
That particular bird has been stigmatized. That if it lands on your ceiling or something, it signifies some kind of bad omen or witchcraft seed or something.
Kwamina loves vultures, and he attributes the decline in their numbers to the migration of the bird during the Liberian and Ivorian War to feed on dead bodies.
I heard the vultures have migrated to Cote d'Ivoire.
Jaffath Roberts is a biodiversity monitoring and conservation science coordinator. He works with the Ghana Wildlife Society. For the past 2 decades, he has collaborated with global partners for research projects on birds including vultures. He's worried about the massive decline in Ghana's vulture population, especially the capital.
With respect to Ghana, some studies were done in the year 2012. And back then, the population was about 245 vultures within Accra alone. But by December last year, when these root sites were visited, the population had declined to about less than 50%. Many conservation scientists in the country have already started some studies. One of the preliminary things we've discovered is that vultures are being killed and sold for witchcraft, medicinal purposes.
At a popular market in the heart of Accra, the Nima market, getting a vulture's head as well as its body parts was not too difficult. Rather, allowing us to film from the traders was the problem. These traders also have a cocktail of other animal parts on display for sale. Upon seeing the camera, none of them allowed us to film or grant us an interview. A trader permitted us to film, but in the process, another trader whisked the vulture's head away. It costs only 150 Ghana cedis to get a vulture's head, I'm told. Witch doctors believe that vulture brains in particular have some magical powers.
Vultures were so common here. When a chief dies, we use it as part of the funeral rite.
In Africa, 11 vulture species have been identified, with 7 in Ghana. According to the Ghana Wildlife Society, of the 7, the hooded vulture is experiencing the population crash. These are mostly found on rubbish dumps. Hooded vultures account for a greater part of the vulture population in Ghana. Sadly, hooded vultures were listed as endangered as far back as in 2011. Understandably, vultures are not cute, cuddly, or colorful, but they are one of nature's most important scavengers who can strip a carcass in a matter of minutes. This role, according to epidemiologists, is key in disease control, especially in curbing diseases that had to do with poor sanitation like cholera.
Vultures, as a group of species, they are scavengers. We tend to call them nature's own waste management team. They take care of the waste within the system. If we lose vultures in our environment, it exacerbates your waste management crisis. So then any disease that comes about with poor sanitation, the likelihood of it increasing goes up. So it's a whole ecosystem service benefit.
Vultures are said to breed slowly with just 1 chick a year. Experts predict these natural recyclers, which breed slowly and need years to mature, could be extinct in Africa and in Ghana in the next 50 years if the few available now are not poisoned or hunted for their body parts to be used in traditional medicine. They also say trees that serve as their habitat must not be cut. And that was my journey. My name is Gifty AJ. Back to you, Conrad and Shirley, for the rest of the news.
Thanks, Gifty. And now some international news. UN Security Council ambassadors and African Union leaders met on Saturday for crisis talks on Burundi after the government refused to propose to agree to a proposed AU force to stem violence in the troubled country. The meeting in the AU headquarters in Ethiopia comes a day after the UN envoys met with President Pierre Nkurunziza in Burundi, where they appealed for him to take urgent action to stop the violence sparked by his re-election. UN Council envoys have pushed for the government to hold talks with the opposition and agree to the presence of international troops, such as a proposed 5,000-strong African Union force to restore stability. The United Nations World Health Organization and its partners are predicting a major global increase in health emergencies this year due to El Nino. El Nino is a warming of the central to eastern tropical Pacific Ocean, which affects rainfall patterns and temperatures in many parts of the world, but most intensely in the tropical regions of Africa, Asia Pacific, and Latin America, which are particularly vulnerable to natural hazards. Typically, some places receive much more rain than normal, while others receive much less. The WHO believes the impact on public health is likely to continue throughout 2016, and it says to prevent unnecessary deaths and illness, governments must invest more in strengthening their preparedness and response efforts. We'll be back with sports news. Sports news now. Conquerors Rugby Football Club continued their unbeaten run in the ongoing Ghana Rugby Football League. They beat Ida's side by 57 points to nothing.
One of the top of the table clashes for the 7-week-old Ghana Rugby Football League was the clash between Conquerors RFC and Idas. The two sides approached the game differently. Whereas Conquerors FC were looking to maintain their unbeaten run, Idas, currently placed fourth, were looking to pick the vital win to improve their standings. Conquerors RFC in the yellow and red jersey had everything working for them. They left nothing to chance as they dominated both halves using their superior strength, speed and skills and teamwork, making Idas mere spectators in the game. After 80 minutes of action, the score stood at 57 points to 0. The tournament coordinator, Mr. Steve Noy, praised the teams for their efforts. He gave a hint of what one should expect next Saturday.
Yeah, it has improved, and in everything that you do, even going through education, there's always room for improvement. So I think it has improved if we compare it to the previous matches. It's improving every week, but still, if we give ourselves more time, we shall get to where we want to get to. 2 unbeaten sides. Not only unbeaten sides, 2 experienced sides. And when you have 2 experienced sides playing, then you expect a very good game.
The last 3 matches on 30th January 2016 of the 2015-2016 Ghana Rugby Club Championship will prove to be an exhilarating affair when Cosmos Buffaloes and Conquerors, the current log leaders, face each other in the final match of the 2015-2016 GRCC at the Accra Sports Stadium. In the other 2 matches, Ida Sports will play the Accra Sharks, whilst UCC Spartans will face Dansuman Hurricanes.
Next is some arts news.
Now, reports indicate that veteran actor Solomon Sampa has died. The actor died on Friday around 8 p.m. after he was rushed to the Kolebu Teaching Hospital after a short illness. Emmanuel Sampa, brother of the late actor, confirmed that Solomon complained his health had deteriorated on Friday. He said the actor, who died at age 70, had not been well for the past 3 months. His body has been deposited at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital mortuary. Solomon Sampa is well known for the popular Original Hacks commercial and has starred in several movies, including Foul Play, Queen's Bride, Owo Safwa, and Ultimate Paradise television series. He is survived by a wife and 8 children. Solomon Sampa, born in Jamestown, British Accra, would have turned 71 on February 14. She is an actress, a painter and a singer. She has been in show business for a long time, but behind the scenes she's making things happen. Nana Frema was on GBC24.
I initially started with acting.
Okay.
Yeah, it went well a bit before it started going down. Actually,
why did it go down?
The industry is even slow. That's what everyone says, and I know that too.
Okay.
Because I'm experiencing it, and yeah. Okay, to sum it up, it's been amazing. It's been an amazing journey, let me put it that way.
Right. She says she does not feel threatened by the female musicians in the industry.
Honestly, I'm not, because they're doing their own thing. To think of it, they are all on different journeys. They're doing their own thing, and they're doing amazingly well. You know, so I think it's time for Ghana to experience something new.
Okay.
And I'm here to bring that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Frema touched on Musica.
If you're a musician, upcoming, you should be a member of Musica.
Why Samiri?
Oh my God, I think he's very good. He's so good. He did a lot for Kaki. Yeah, so I feel he can do the same for me. And yeah, I love his music.
You're tearing just mentioning Samini's name. Oh my goodness.
he's really good.
Okay.
And Bisake Day. Forward to going back into the movie industry.
Okay.
Yes, and a lot of recording.
Okay.
And looking at collaborating with K-Day.
Okay.
I have a song with Keche. It's called Baby Mama.
Okay.
It will be out in a month's time.
Okay.
And also my foundation.
Okay.
Yes, Stay Alive to Save a Life. It's a suicidal cause.
And so that's it for the news. Thank you so much for your time. Good evening.